Hey, so welcome to the next movement video in the flow training program. So in the first video, we talked about linear movement, right? So in basic self-defense or just movement in general, you need to have a nice strong stance. It's all about your connection to the ground. And we talked about linear movement, about moving forward, moving back, moving to one side, moving to the other side. In the second video, we talked about angles and pivots, right? So it's not always going to move in a linear fashion. Sometimes you're going to need to move on an angle to the left, on an angle to the right. You're also going to want to change directions and pivot, change directions and pivot. So if you haven't watched those videos yet, I strongly recommend you do, because this is the third video in that series. And it probably won't make as much sense if you don't have the foundation, the base from those other two videos. Okay? So in this video, we're going to focus on something that's also very important, which is levels, right? And being able to work at different height levels and eventually leading to working on the ground. So we're not going to work on the ground yet, but this is kind of making our way there. Because again, anything that's self-defense related or even just movement related, functional movement related, at some point you end up on the ground, right? And we don't want to ignore that part. It's really, really important, but I want us to work our way down to the ground. Okay, so for this video, we're really just going to focus on this idea of working with levels, right? And changing levels easily, as much as your body will allow. And that starts again with your stance. So having that shoulder width, front foot, left foot forward, right foot back, because I'm a right-handed person, opposite if you're a lefty. Having your knees bent. Okay, this is going to be the main focus of today's video, is going to be using your legs and your knees in order to change levels. And we're going to also throw in some upper body movement, which is going to make it flow, which is going to make it much more dynamic. All right, so let's go over the basics. So we have our nice strong stance, knees are bent, hands are up, always hands up, super important. And I just want you to start by squatting down and squatting up from this position. Now obviously, you can work regular squats and that's a great exercise, but the goal here isn't to do a workout, the goal here is to kind of integrate this into your movement patterns. So with your hands up, your eyes forward, I just want you to get a sense of what it feels like to squat down and back up while you're in this position. Okay, so squat down and up, squat down and up. And when you come up, don't let your knees lock, all right? Don't come up till your legs are completely straight. Stop right before you feel like your knees are going to be completely straight. All right, so you're going down and up, down and up. And now I want you to try to go down a little bit and move forward in the way that we described in the first video, right? Which is to take small steps and always come back to your stance. Okay, if your legs are burning, that's kind of normal. That's the whole point, is you want to feel that engagement of your muscles. If you're having a hard time with this, that's a bit of a wake-up call. It's telling you that maybe you're not working these muscles enough, or maybe your joints are very stiff. If you have pain in your knees, if you have pain in your ankles, obviously the goal here is not to promote you working through an injury, but if you do feel some stiffness, if you do feel a little bit of pain, that might just be a sign that you need to do more of this and you need to work on this, but always doing it safely. Again, if you're having any mechanical issues, if you have any lingering injuries or whatever, reach out to me or reach out to your doctor or whoever, just to make sure that you're not making anything worse, right? But again, the goal here is to kind of get used to this idea that you're not always going to be standing completely straight. And remember, our definition of self-defense isn't just about defending myself against someone attacking me. It can be just about anything that can cause me harm. So what if I have to walk over uneven terrain, right? What if I'm in a situation where things are a little bit crazy and there's stuff all over the place and I need to navigate through this uneven terrain? Having this ability to change levels is going to make that so much easier for me. Also, being able to come down low is going to dramatically improve your balance, right? The higher up you are, the less balanced you are. The lower you get, the more balance you have. Okay, so first exercise, do this on your own time. I just want you to go down a little bit lower than you normally would and try moving around in this position, keeping your feet up, working your pivots, working your angles, switching your stance once in a while, doing everything we did in those first two videos, but doing it from a different level, right? And then you can come back up and then come back down and then come back up and then come back down. All right, so that's the first thing I want you to work on, is just bending your knees, dropping your level a little bit further down and moving around and just seeing how that feels for you, okay? The next thing we're going to look at is the upper body movement. So this would be more in a fighting situation, right? So if you've ever watched boxing or even MMA fighting, you'll see a lot of guys have really good head movement, or girls have really good head movement. And this is kind of what allows them to deal with the punches that the person is sending or the strikes that the person is sending to them, right? It makes me a harder target to hit. But incorporating this into your movement isn't just about getting hit or not getting hit. Case in point, the other day I was hiking through the woods and a branch kind of came out of nowhere because I wasn't really focusing on it, and having the ability to duck underneath kind of saves me from bumping my head, right? So having that awareness and that ability to move your body in all these different angles can really help you out, especially if you're in a tight kind of space or in a situation where ground is uneven and movement isn't super linear and super easy, okay? And again, if you are in a self-defense situation where there is an attack possibility, having that ability to make yourself a more difficult target to hit is obviously going to be an advantage for you, okay? So this next drill is just that. Get into your stance, bend your knees, and I want you to think rotational movement, all right? So you're bending forward and then moving to the side, forward and then to the side. Another important thing here is notice I'm constantly staring at the camera. I'm not letting my eyes go down. I always need to know what's going on in front of me, okay? I can see the floor right now. I can see next to me. I can see up, but I want my eyes forward, okay? So, recap. First thing, in your stance, hands are up. Work on changing levels. Moving forward, moving back, pivots, angles, all the things we did in the first two videos. But now you're going to add this level change. And the next thing you're going to add is some rotational movement, right? Moving your upper body. And notice when I do this, it's a combination of my knees bending and I'm hinging at the waist, right? So it's not just the waist and it's not just the knees. It's a combination of both, making my head, my whole upper body, a more difficult target to hit, but also allowing me to navigate and move my body in all of these different angles, okay? So that's your homework. Move around in this new position, focusing on level changes and playing around with your upper body and moving it. Another little thing you can do is if you have a way to kind of put something here, like a broomstick, for example, or just something that you can duck underneath, that can really help because it gives you a purpose. It gives you a reason to duck underneath something and to see how comfortable you feel with that movement. All right, so give it a try. As always, if you have any questions or comments, message me, and good luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.